Sorry for the delay. Well, we need chat up so we can answer questions. Everyone's welcome. I had to rejig the configuration. So lesson should be on mathematics, ratios and proportion. Let me just first give the link to a resource that you need to download. Right, so this lesson is on numeracy, and in particular, if you can see this link that I've left at the top, just click on that and it should send you to a PDF file. Just click on that. So likewise, I've got one. You should have, I'll type it in. Please have a pen, paper, and even a dictionary. You might need to do some calculations and some work. So feel free to leave a comment. Obviously, should have the permission of whoever owns the login for YouTube to do this. If you can, type in something. I'll say hi if you're allowed to, if you've got permission from the owner of the YouTube login. Right, you should have this, and I think on the kind of work between this, YouTube is not the best way of doing this lesson. I'm going to kind of work between having you download something so it's clearer, and then just in case you haven't downloaded it, me. So I'm going to kind of showing you the worksheet that I have, and hopefully you'll be able to see that. So let me just adjust the camera, and there we go. Right, so YouTube Live is not the easiest thing to do to conduct a lesson, because I could do the interactive whiteboard or say a link, so it shows a screen like this. So I'm having to turn the camera around. So ratios and proportions, and we're dealing with mathematics, of course. You should be able to see the whole screen. And if you look on the link that I left, click on that, you've got your own version of it. All right, so in your books, or in your bit of paper and your pen, just write down the title. Today's date is the 26th of March 2020. And get the title. Ratio and proportions. They're kind of similar and related, but not exactly the same when it comes to doing the questions. So question A. So the advantage is I can highlight this. If I had an interactive whiteboard on this YouTube live, I could kind of, you can still see me while I'm doing this, if you know what I mean. But there isn't. But anyway, here's a tile pattern. Now, a tile pattern is this white square, black square, white square, black square, white, black, white, black. The pattern is obviously 2 white, 1 black, 2 white, 1 black, 2 white, 1 black, 2 white, 1 black. And the first question is, what is the ratio of black tiles to white tiles? And I want you to take particular note of how this is written. Black tiles, and in particular this word here, 2. All right, and the other side of it, which is white tiles. So I wonder if I can highlight it, because this is coming up. Oh, it is. Okay, that does work. I'm on PDF at the moment, showing you PDF. You should be looking at your own version of this for clarity, because it's not going to be so clear. And this word here. Oh, I don't want to throw it out. I'm just going to leave that in the middle then. Right. And this word here, I'm going to underline. If you can look in your dictionary, if you've got one, a paper-based one is preferable. Look in your dictionary for that word and try and find it. So I'll look in my own dictionary. So far on your piece of paper, you should have written down the title, the date, and next you should be looking for this word, ratio. So look in your paper-based dictionary. If you've got no paper-based, then you'll have to go online. And type in also, if you go online, type in mathematics. And then type in the word ratio. So it will come up with some other kind of definition. So have you found it yet? Or have you typed it in yet? Preferably, like I said, use your paper-based dictionary. Read it. See if you can figure out what's going on with this question. So ratio. And if you use a learner's dictionary like mine, it will say maths as well. So quite handy. And they print it out in red as well. Right. So if you found that, have a read of it. If you haven't got that, you can write down my definition. So the definition in my book, next to the word ratio, is a relationship between the sizes of 2 numbers or amounts. So I'll read that out again. So you can write that down as I'm reading out. A relationship between the sizes of 2 numbers or amounts. Read out a third time. The relationship between the sizes of two numbers or amounts. Now, and they give in my dictionary a further explanation. A teacher-student ratio of, so I'll read that out again. A teacher-student ratio of 1 with the next thing is basically 1 to 20. The word 2 is replaced. See this word here next to the black tiles word. That word there in the dictionary is written as one dot on top of each other. So like a, what you call like a colon. So one dot on top of each other. Don't worry about it too much at the moment. So 1 to 20. So example is a teacher for student ratio of 1 to 20 means one teacher for every 20 students. So now we've got a question here. It says, looking back at our page, what is the ratio of black tiles to white tiles? The wording of it is important. Black tiles is written first, the white tiles is written second, and the word to, I can't seem to highlight, is also important. And the ratio, this word ratio is important. Now, before we begin, what I forgot to mention is you should take your time. If you've got ruler, use a ruler to draw this in your books or in your on your piece of paper. So you've got, you need a straight edge. You need to draw, if you can, equal little kind of rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 rectangles. And we're colouring in third one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth one, the eighth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, ninth one, and the 12th one. So if you do that now, so you should have on your piece of paper the title, the date, the word ratio, what it may mean in your dictionary or my definition I've read out, and you should be copying out this pattern now. I'll give you a minute to do this. I'm just going to check back on my other screen. So you should have also clicked on the link to see to have your own copy of this PDF. Just having a look at another camera. So you got 30 seconds to go. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Right. So we're looking for a numbered answer, although this is a written question, but we've got to bear in mind how this is written. So if I now go to maybe my paint and I kind of draw the same shape down, this won't be easy. I really need not a mouse, but let's not use this one. Let's use a much clearer one because your screen will be difficult to see. That should be fine, I think. I wonder if I can divide this by 12. Need some more. one of those pens. Because I can't get one at the moment. We'll be able to buy one at the moment in our current time. So you've got 12 boxes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Imagine they were equal size. It's important if they're equal. We've got coloured one here. That's meant to be coloured in. And you've got 2 spaces, another one. Two spaces and another one. And the beginning of my lesson is going to be kind of slow. And then it speeds up once you get the hang of it. And using paint to do this is not the best way of doing it. In fact, I'll be better off using Word in a way. And then I won't be able to write. So an interactive whiteboard on YouTube live stream would be great, YouTube, if you can get that for us. So these are meant to be equal size. Right, okay. They want ratio, and it's a little bit easier to write than it is to draw, of black to white tiles. Now the word to I'm going to replace with these 2 dots here, because the word to does represent that, black to white. If I'm doing this next week or another week in the future, and I have got a tablet somewhere, but it's in another location, and at the moment we can't travel. Okay, that's why we're stuck doing this. So ratio of black to white simply is, the wording is important. Remember what I said, the wording is really, really important. All you have to do to answer this question is ask yourself the question is, well, you have to give the answer in the order the question is written. Black tiles to white tiles. So simply, to answer your first number 1 is you count the black tiles. Or in this case, the filled in tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm hoping that you would have been ahead of the game and doing the same thing, and you just jumped ahead. If not, don't worry, just watch me. To white tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That simply is your answer to the question. The question doesn't ask for any kind of simplest terms or reduce it down to its simplest terms. It just says, what is the ratio of black tiles to white tiles? And there are 4 black tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 white tiles. If the question had been a little bit more difficult and it asked for what's the simplest terms, then you'll have to think of a number that you can divide both the left side and the right side by neatly, so it goes in neatly to give you a final answer. So the simplest term, I'm just going to give you 10 seconds to think of it. What number can divide neatly by both sides to give the simplest term? Okay, time's up. If your answer was let's divide both sides by 4, you would be correct, because the simplest term is 4 divided by 1 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I'm just going to switch off the dings from my phone. Right, so the 4 to 8 is your final answer, but if you ask for more, you can give them more. Okay, so I'm going to leave this because I won't have to draw it again, and I'm going to rub that out. Now, the second question on this question A is slightly different. Now, again, I need you to look for that word in the dictionary. So this second word is proportion. And apologize for my writing. using a mouse, proportion. Look for this word in the dictionary. All right. Hopefully this is showing up nicely with a big red writing and a big font that I'm writing with. Look it up in the dictionary, and I shall look up my dictionary. What does the word proportion mean in mathematics? So we need to look for a P. So we need to go backwards on a paper dictionary than if you was on the same page as R, because P comes before R. So you should hopefully have found it soon. It's going to take me. I'm going to do it slowly so it kind of matches your speed. I found mine, and if you're on a computer, you'll be a lot quicker than me. So read it to yourself. See if you can figure out what it means mathematically to you. Okay, so I'm going to read out my definition. You should have this word written on your bit of paper. So, maths, a quantity of something. So write this down if you haven't got a good definition. A quantity of something that is a part or share of the whole. A quantity of something that is a part or share of the whole. So each word is very important. A quantity of something that is part or share of the whole. Now the word whole, you spell not H-O-L-E, it's W-H-O-L-E. And have a little think for a second what the word W-H-O-L-E means. It should mean the whole thing. So in our case, the whole of this picture is the whole thing, the W-H-O-L-E. So every little kind of rectangle that should be equal size, which are not in my picture, is part of the whole. Have that written down. So the question is, number 2, what is the proportion of black tiles? So proportion, and if I change color, let's choose an easy color to change it. Proportion of black tiles. There's no mention of white tiles at all. What's the proportion of black tiles? Have a little minute to yourself to think what it means. Words are important in these type of questions. Proportion of black tiles. And reading the definition or rereading it, what you wrote down. The word whole, W-H-O-L-E, is important, the whole thing. So it gives you a little bit of a clue. Okay, right, time's up. So black tiles we're only interested in. So black tiles, and our answer should also be our answer should also be in the form of using the word 2 or the 2 dots. So I'm going to draw them in first. So these are colons, but mathematically, I suppose they're called colons, but they're kind of signs for proportion. So you see that means proportion. So the answer should be black tiles. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember the word I said whole, W-H-O-L-E, is important. What's the number for the whole? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the proportion of black tiles is 4 to 12. Now it doesn't mention again to simplify it down to its simplest form. So we can leave it like that. If we wanted to simplify it down, we could again divide by both sides by 4. And we'll have 4 divided by 4 equals 1, 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So 1 to 3 is its simplest form, but leave it like this is actually less confusing. So that's question 1 and question 2 done, but I'm going to add an extra question in. I'll need to use my rubber. So imagine it didn't say black tiles. Imagine, of course, if it said white tiles. See if you can answer that now. So that's just switching it around a little bit. Do the same thing as what we did for black tiles, but this time you're counting the white tiles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 to 12. All right. That's that. One last thing on this type of question that I want to just bring up. And that is the proportion bit, or the ratio bit. These two dots can be rewritten. So we should have a few answers already. We should have, what's the ratio of black tiles to white tiles? It was 4 to 8, wasn't it? That's one answer. The second answer, what's the proportion of black tiles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 12. Now, I just want you to know one key point. And the key point is we can change this into a fraction. We can treat it like a fraction. In fact, you can replace, really, you can kind of treat this as, although it's not really, of course it's not. 4 does not equal 8, but you could almost imagine an equal sign to it, because you can do things like multiply both sides by 2, divide both sides by 4, something like that. It's very similar to an equal sign. You would still come up with the right answer, but it's more like a fraction, really. So this can be also rewritten, but you don't normally do in questions. You could really treat it like this: 4 over 8 and 4 over 12. Like that. You could treat it like that. So that's why you can multiply top and bottom by whatever number. You multiply top and bottom by 2. You come up with what you call an equivalent fraction. That's why it doesn't really affect it. Right, so you should be now doing question B. So go ahead with question B. I wonder if there's a different program I can use that will give me like a straighter edge. This program doesn't give me a straight edge. So go ahead and draw in your diagram for question B. We haven't used this program for a little while. Okay, at least it's given me a bit of a straight edge. At least I've got two straight edges there. So question B, better make it a bit longer. Get rid of that. How many squares are there? Or how many rectangles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But it's got a different pattern. Same sort of number of squares, but different pattern. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more. So you should be filling up 4 white squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 dark square. Four white squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my mistake. It's 1, 2, 3. I'm looking at the one below it. You should be checking me as I go along as well. I'll make a mistake. Won't be able to see you make a comment at the moment because I've just got this screen. Unless well, it's probably not worth it. But let's keep this screen as it is for now until I figure out how to do this properly. Or unless amendments are made on this program that make it easier for tuition like this. 3 white squares. 3 more white squares. We've only got 15 minutes more of our lesson. I'm hoping I can get through this, and most of my time is unfortunately taken up by doing this. I do apologise. My first go at it is we're living in unprecedented times. I'm just trying to do my bit to help people. Here it is, B. So let me write that down so I don't forget what it is. Question B. Now, question 1, very similar. What's the ratio of black tiles to white tiles? So very similar question to above. So I'm going to try and speed up now, so we can get through the whole thing. Black tiles to white tiles. So let's get our 2 ratio dots in there. Ratio kind of pattern, whatever you want to call it, the symbol for it. The 1, 2, 3. And white tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, don't hesitate to do things what I'm doing. Don't hesitate to count. Look at me, I'm just counting. I know it's kind of baby steps. And as an adult, I still do things like that. Because you can't get it wrong. If you kind of assume looking at it, you might get it wrong. So that would be the answer for 1. Black tiles to white tiles. What's the proportion of black tiles? So very similar question. 1, 2, 3. We're using the same number here. That's question 1. That's question 2. Proportion of black tiles, they mean to the whole then. What's the proportion of black tiles to the whole? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. 12 is a bit off. As a fraction, it could look like this. Or a fraction, sometimes the bottom one could look like this with a straight line. They all kind of mean the same thing. All right, so that's B done. You should be, of course, looking at C, and you should be getting your ruler out and trying to draw C. And I'll count for you the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 squares. I'm not going to cross this out. I might just add to it. So question C. Draw another pattern ready to be filled in with color. And this question is very useful. If you get this question in your head now, if you ever do a GCSE lower tier, this will help you. This little question comes up, and it can get you like grade 4. Because we're talking about numeracy now. Numeracy is a little bit different to mathematics. Numeracy is what you kind of need in everyday life to get by. And I've not stopped counting the tiles. I should count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's correct. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4 white tiles, and then 1 black tile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Might just temporarily close this just to make sure I'm filming everything. It might look a bit odd. Okay, it does look a bit odd. Didn't think that would work. I want to see if my camera is pointing straight at the screen. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4 white tiles. We've got 10 minutes left. Anything left on the worksheet that you should click the link to. Do it in your own time. Which hopefully we're going to get question C, which is what this is, and question D done. And then E you can do yourself. Well, question C, what's the ratio of black tiles to white tiles? We're going to get our ratio symbol in there. Black tiles, 1, 2, 3. There's that. Simple as that. White tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Number 2. What's the proportion of black tiles? 1, 2, 3. And so we've got 3. Compared to the whole is 15, isn't it? That should be the answer for what's the proportion of black tiles. 3 to 15. Now I want you to just to pay attention to a little something. Look at this number 3 and look at this number 12 on the ratio bit. If you had to get them together, what number do you get? You should get the number 15. So the proportions of all the different types of squares, the correct word is the number of tiles of all the different squares, either white or darker. Add them all up, you should get the whole. So these two numbers added up should give you this number, is what I'm trying to say. All right, that is C done. Let's hope I've got time to do D. So I rubbed it out. Thankfully, I don't need it. It's a written type of question. D. When Paul picks strawberries, so I gotta be careful here. He eats 1 for every 5 he puts into the basket. So let's get our sign for ratio and sign for proportions. I haven't figured out what question type of, whether it's ratio they want or proportions. Yeah. So let's read it again. He eats 1 for every 5. So I'm just going to write in words eats. There was a number 1. And then a basket. You should have something similar to yours. You jumping ahead and just doing it. He puts in the basket 5. Now you should be visualizing yourself eating one strawberry, putting 5 in a basket, eating another strawberry, put another 5 in the basket, eating one strawberry, put another 5 in the basket. That's what you should be visualizing yourself for, because that's what the question needs. Needs you to know that. And the wording of it is important. So let's see number 1. Just have enough time, I think, to do this. What's the ratio of strawberries in the basket to the strawberries eaten? So let's get our ratio sign, which is the same as the proportion sign, the 2 dots. Now the wording is important. I'll read that out again. What is the ratio of strawberries in the basket to strawberries eaten? Right. Look, we've written down the kind of the information from above here and turned it into a bit of mathematics. Each one puts 5 in a basket. So the ratio of strawberries in the basket to strawberries eaten is the other way around. If you was to write this down as your answer, that would be wrong. So the ratio of strawberries in the basket is 5 to the ratio of strawberries eaten is 1. So the wording order is important in writing the order that you put the numbers in. So strawberries in the basket is 5, eaten is 1. Don't get them mixed up. Number 2. What proportion it's got in there of the strawberries picked does Paul eat? So strawberries picked, does Paul eat? So the strawberries picked is all of them, isn't it? Imagine you only did 1 round of this eating and putting in a basket. How many is the strawberries picked? What number? Remember I said earlier in the earlier question, what you do with the ratio ones, you add them up. You can either add up these 2 or these 2, add them up. So the 6 comes in handy somewhere. What proportion of a strawberry does he eat? Now he eats 1. And we got to kind of compare that, because really this proportion sign or this ratio sign is a comparison, isn't it? 1 to 6 is the answer. He eats 1 out of a total of 6. So it's slightly more difficult to get your head around that one. Okay, right. So these 2 numbers add up, gives you a total. And that's your answer for it. I wonder if we have enough time. I've got 4 more minutes to do E or part of E, and then maybe leave the very last couple of questions for you yourself. Work that out. You can start reading it now. If you're lucky enough to have a printer, you could have printed this out. So we've got, here are 2 shapes. Okay, now these are all kind of pretend dark, so I might change it to a different color. So imagine these are all filled in. Well, we shouldn't do that. Imagine these are all filled in with a color. These are all dark. All right. Number 1. What's the ratio of white to shaded square? So white, remember the wording is important, so we get our 2 dots in number 1. What's the ratio of white? We've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The shaded squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Simple as that. First question done. Question 2. What is the proportion of the total number of squares shaded? What's the proportion of the total number of squares shaded? So get our 2 dots in there. Shaded is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is, when we talk about proportions, remember we add these 2 numbers together. 4 plus 8 is 12. So question E, number 2, is 8 to 12. I'm going to leave question 3, number 4, to you, and it's slightly more difficult, or they kind of make you think about it in a different way. I want to kind of thank you for, let me see if I can get my camera painted on me. Thank you for watching. I've not got the right equipment, as you can see, at all. Not prepared very well because I wasn't expecting this. The camera's not sitting straight at all. I want to thank you for watching me. If I can get it steady. No, I can't. Thank you for watching me. I hope you learned something. And I should hopefully run another class tomorrow. Similar sort of time. And thanks for watching.